Hello, I am Max and you're watching Cool Stuff in Weird Cars. And today, the topic is my Lexus. So this is my 1994 Lexus LS400 if you've not seen it on my channel yet. And it was my daily driver from around May of last year to about January of this year. As you can tell, I said was there because I've driven this car a total of 80-90 miles in the past 2 months, since I bought the Ram pretty much. And let's go over why. So here's the thing, I do still love this car. I love the way it drives, I love the way it looks, so on and so forth. But it's lacking in a few spots that I wasn't expecting necessarily. So the biggest thing is, surprisingly, this car is a luxury car from 1994, and it's got leather seats, you know, all the fancy stuff. And the thing is that I took my Ram on about a 400-mile road trip somewhat recently, like in late January, something like that, early February, and it was actually more comfortable to take that thing 400 miles than it was to take this car the same distance pretty much. I definitely get uncomfortable, my butt starts to get uncomfortable and whatnot. In this car, in the Ram, I was pretty much perfectly fine in after all 400 miles. In this car, it would take, you know, probably 2 hours, 3 hours for me to get uncomfortable in it. It's kind of surprising to me, even though I know Mopar seats from the 90s are definitely a force to be reckoned with. But I would expect a car like this to be at least a little bit better, maybe? But it's definitely not. Another thing that the Ram kind of actually surpasses this car, well, it doesn't really surpass it, but it's not much worse on, is fuel. So the gas mileage is definitely different. This car gets about 14 city, 20 highway. And it runs on 93 octane, and it takes, you know, 20 gallons, whatever, to the tank. My Ram gets 11 to 13 miles per gallon on, you know, city to highway, and it takes 87 octane gas. So I think it roughly equals out, surprisingly, even though the gas mileage is quite a bit different. Another thing, too, is that this car, even though it's, you know, a huge four-door sedan, has tons of space in the trunk, tons of space inside, the Ram, it's got a good amount of space inside in the cab, and it has a bed and it has the ability to tow stuff. So it's, I'd say, a lot more useful for stuff especially that I want to do coming up soon. And it's just, I don't know. And it has a camper shell, so it's not really going to get wet inside the bed at all. And I don't know, it's just like this car has become just less and less driven, even though the Ram, of course, is harder to drive. Well, not really harder to drive, but harder to park, and definitely isn't the most city-friendly vehicle that I have by a long shot. It's been, I'd almost say, almost better to daily drive than this car. Mustang. And the thing is that I hate letting cars sit, specifically cars that I can drive every day and whatnot, like this car, like my TC that I just put in the garage over here. If you saw the last video that I made, it's understandable because it's a very rare car and it needs a lot of work to actually be running and driving correctly. But I hate letting cars sit, for the most part, that can be daily driven. That's why my dream of being a car collector is always like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to just buy cars and let them sit in the garage for years and years and years? I mean, in the garage is fine. I don't really mind that. But just letting them sit outside is just no fun. And so I leave you with this. Basically, this car pretty much was my dream daily driver back, you know, a year or two ago, whenever I started seeing Matt Farah's Million Mile Lexus and just kind of researching them in general. And it was a great daily driver, and it still is. But I'm thinking that I could use something maybe a little bit more than this. So who knows, the car might be gone sometime soon. There are a lot of things I want to do. I want to go, of course, Redwood, Seattle with the TC and the Ram. And there's a couple of other big things that I want to do that require a decent amount of money. So who knows, this car might not be on the channel much longer, but it was definitely fun while it lasted. It was definitely a good experience. There's nothing wrong with the reliability of the car or anything either. It's been perfectly reliable except for, of course, the cruise control problem that I described in the last video I made of it. Other than that, it's been perfectly fine. So, I don't know, you can leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. and I'll be deciding what to do with it here in probably the next month or so.